I think what keeps people's spirits up is looking for the positive and good in everything, not dwelling on negative things or things that aren't going wrong. Don't dwell on what you can't do, but highlight what you can do.
All right, welcome back to the Spero Means Hope Podcast, where we take storytelling to a whole new level by sharing amazing patient stories, interview experts in the community, and share resources for clinicians and students. So today we have with us Kevin and Barbara. Hi, Kevin.
Hi,
Hi.
I'm Marcia.
How y'all doing tonight?
Great. We're doing great.
Awesome. Well, nice to have y'all on the podcast. So, can you start by telling us a little bit about yourself? So, where are you from? And then what did you used to do for a living? And what do you guys do for fun?
Well, a little bit about myself. I used to work for Dow Jones and Company for 25 years. They published newspapers, including the Wall Street Journal. Um, and Barbara's an engineer, or was an engineer, but we're both retired. And we, for fun, I guess we like to cook, right? What do you like to do for fun?
Cook, go on vacation, eat dinner.
Eat, go to Spero, and I think
We
that's
like
all.
going to events
Yeah,
or socializing with friends.
we're interested in art. We have for the museum. I like classical music. I love it, and so we've always had season tickets to the symphony. We've had season tickets to the Astros. We've had season tickets to in Houston and the Rockets, and we love going to church on Sunday with our grandkids. If they if they aren't playing games, they seem to miss too much, because they're in sports and all that happens. But that's about it. What else do we like to? Oh, Barbara is a runner. She's done 5 marathons. And the last race she had was a 5 mile race, and she came in first in her age group.
Congratulations, Barbara. That's
Thank you.
awesome. That's awesome. How did the two of you guys meet?
How do we
Friends.
know? Yeah, friends are. I We met in Steamboat, and
I was in Miss Jackson.
actually it was Jackson Hole, and so I asked her out, and she thought I was going out with one of her girlfriends, and she said no. About 10 or 12 years later, and we somebody put us on a blind date, and we'd forgotten about that little incident until we were looking through old pictures, and there she was in Jackson Hole with me in the other side, and so we finally got together, and uh, it was right after my birthday and right before her birthday. So we've always had this little contest. She owes me a birthday present for 11 months a year. I only owe her one one month a year.
Oh, I love that. I love that. And then, so Kevin, can you tell us a little bit about like what first brought you to Spiro?
Well, Michael Furtado, I don't know if he is. He has a doctorate and he teaches at the university. He had a company called AMPT, and he moved and sold the company. And he said to go to Spiro. He recommended uh, your facility, and so we did. It was that easy, and uh, the problem was he sold it, but they were just doing regular PT. Uh, they didn't really didn't really know if they were going to continue the neurological, and so yeah, so it He said, "You want to go there?" The new owner said, "Yeah, I would go there. I tell you to go there if you were my father." And I said, "Okay." I get the message loud and clear. We're going.
I love that this brought us to like meet and that we get to like now hang out with you like twice a week. That's pretty neat.
Yeah,
Um,
it's great for us
Kevin,
too.
can Aw, love that. Kevin, can you share a little bit about like your diagnosis and how life has been through that journey so far?
Well, in 2018, uh, I went up to Mayo Clinic. I was
19,
having what's that?
19,
2019.
August. Time flies.
Wow.
This is why I keep her near
This is why she's here.
me. so, we went up there, and I was diagnosed with ALS. I didn't really know what it was. Because I went to several doctors for about 6 months trying to find out why I was tripping, and I was diagnosed with amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, Lou Gehrig's disease. And I was really afraid that they were going to say I had MS because my mother had lupus, and that's an autoimmune disease. And I was praying, God, don't let me have MS. And so then they said I had ALS. I said, I take that back. Give me the MS because it is that goes in remission at times where the ALS doesn't. So then that's when I was diagnosed, and then I came to Houston. They recommended Houston Methodist, and I went there, and they confirmed the diagnosis.
And then how has your recovery journey been so far? Like what are some obstacles you've encountered along the way?
I guess the obstacles are the changes over time. Uh, Once you master something new is make it becomes harder. Um, the However, I've always exercised and been in good shape, so I feel that that's helped. And the only reason I guess I can overcome the obstacles is because of Barbara. And we do a lot of laughing. We have friends. We see them, and uh, she works really hard. And we do have help now, but it's getting to a point where I kind of need it. The obstacles, I think, the worst ones are the falls and the concussions and things like that.
And the hurt shoulder.
Yeah, but you know, I don't know if I ever had a brain, so that's that's that can that doesn't seem to be too much of a problem for me. It's not painful. It doesn't make you in a bad mood, and I have a strong belief in God. And kind of like Vince Lombardi, he said, "Here are your priorities. If you play for me, God, family, country, the Green Bay Packers." So those are your marching orders, and that's kind of like we look at it too, except Houston Astros, I guess.
Yes. Yeah, no Green Bay
No.
Packers. Kevin, what are some milestones like you've accomplished in a recent year? So maybe something you thought like you wouldn't be able to do that you're like really proud of being able to do.
Oh, hitting 77.
Aw, that's a good one.
Yes. I think uh, really seeing other people that you can relate to and seeing how they can laugh and be in a good mood. I think the biggest milestone is I get frustrated with the things I can't do, but I don't feel sorry for myself. And that was something I thought could happen and get depressed. And one of the things I can say is I'm happy. Not happy I have this disease, but I'm happy because of friends and family and meeting all these people. The other thing was I did notice something. I would hold the doors for people. They say thank you, and I go, of course, I'm supposed to do that. I'm a guy, you know. And and then people started holding the door for me when I'm in a walker or in a scooter. And so I didn't know how to thank them. And I remember, uh, oh, what's his what's his name? Uh, he said a person likes to hear their name. And it's one of the biggest things in a person. They like to hear their name. And so I would ask whoever opened the door for me. And I was a little hesitant and kind of embarrassed because they were opening the door and I'm feeling obligated. I say, "What is your name?" And everybody tells me. And I say, "I'm Kevin. Glad to meet you." And they start talking. This one lady said, "My mother's up there. Her name is so and so." And we're going the door. So I went up to her mother and I called her my name. And we started talking and laughing. And I said, this is pretty neat. And people, even if they don't speak English, whatever language they speak, they'll figure out I'm asking their name and they'll tell me and we'll communicate. And there's always smiles, there's always handshakes, and then especially going in and out of church, we've met a lot of people just because they opened the door for me. So that's something special.
That is definitely special. I think I remember, like, when you come into clinic and you see someone that is new, you're always asking, like, hey, like, what is that person's name? That's something very like special about you. And so I love that you do that. I never knew the reasons behind it, and I love that so much.
Yeah, the only fear is you meet three or four people in a day and then you can't get their names mixed up next time you see them. So, but Barbara's good with that too. I mean,
We got two of us.
yeah.
If one forgets, the other one
We
is
usually
there to
remember, but
help.
sometimes after they left.
Oh, that was so and so.
Yeah, and then we've had Barbara volunteers for on Fridays during the week to help women second chances and that for Zonta, and it's a women's organization, and I'm really proud of her because she's always thinking of her friends. Uh, Her friend, we missed their birthday. They live in Austin, so she's busy baking cookies for her and doing things because they're coming to town to go for a doctor's visit. I think uh, the biggest thing that makes me proud of Barbara is she's always considerate of other people, and she barged her way into the floor. I don't know if she's supposed to be in there, but she's not leaving. I'll tell you that because she's gotten so she likes. I mean, you have a wonderful crew. It's like family, and and she feels like she can't. She has to see it. See them. I mean, we look forward to Mondays and Thursdays.
And we love seeing you guys there. Speaking about that, so you've mentioned how like you're a pretty happy guy, and how much like Barbara is really important to like lifting up your moods, and you've also mentioned your faith. What are some other like? It can be individuals, it can be like maybe like community organizations, or anyone you can think of that really like helps keep your spirits up.
I think what keeps people's spirits up is looking for the positive and good in everything, not dwelling on negative things or things that aren't going wrong. Don't dwell on what you can't do, but highlight what you can do. The same thing with PT, really.
That's Lucy said that, Aunt Lucy, right? If you look for the good in a person, you will find it. You know who Aunt Lucy is?
I actually don't know who Aunt Lucy is.
You probably none of your viewers would know either. She's the aunt of Paddington Bear. that kids program, Paddington Bear. If you have grandchildren, you've watched it. So Paddington Bear is a movie that was out about this bear that gets out of and he has these little sayings, like Aunt Lucy said this and Aunt Lucy said that. But he's a bear and he goes to England.
And the reason Kevin knows this
No.
is because a friend of ours, daughter, loved Paddington Bear. And so Kevin called and pretended he was Paddington Bear.
We had,
And she believed it.
we had to download the Paddington Bear movies and watch them and get the accent of the bear, and so I called her and had a conversation with her, and she finally was
Well, it was
told,
like a year or two ago, and it was this Thanksgiving that her mom finally told her that Kevin is really Paddington Bear.
yeah.
That is funny. I can kind of like I can see it because I feel like you have this like warm voice. So I can picture it, but that is so funny.
Yeah.
So Aunt Lucy from Paddington Bear said, if you see the good in people, what's the second part of
If
the
you
quote?
look for the good in people, you will find it.
Oh, I like that. If you look for the good in people, you will find it.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, it's pretty good. And the nefarious parts, that they play in the movie, I thought were good. They have famous actors playing these villains. They must have had a great time. You can see the smiles on their faces and everything else when they're going through this. It's just children's,
Yeah, well,
but
when we
it's a good
finish
one.
this call, I'll definitely be looking at Paddington Bear. I'm like, oh, that's who
Yeah,
Kevin was impersonating. I like that. So Barbara shared like the organization that she loves that kind of helps her.
Zonta.
What about you? Are there any like local organizations you're like close to? Maybe like the ALS Foundation or anything like that?
Well, we've done walks for the ALS Foundation every year in the last 4 or 5 years. I think
I
five
think we've
years.
done, 5.
We've done five, and thanks to you, that was such a great one because you came, your family came, the people from Spero came. I mean, it was amazing. I just couldn't believe that happened. It was great. I got to meet your husband and
Yes.
and and your dad, and
Mm.
it was really special. And my daughter just thought that was great. And she loves kids. There were a couple little ones there that she hadn't seen. Uh, we do that march. It says it's on here, Kevin's Crusaders, but that was done by a person that sends on to another person who volunteers a lot. And I think that started in college through a sorority that volunteers. And her brother died of ALS. And there's another person in there.
Another friend of ours whose brother died. So.
Yeah. And so we walk, and basically their names are in part of our group. And I'm just representing it because I have ALS. And the that that means a lot to the people, and we know these two other people from skiing. I forgot we used to do a lot of skiing and scuba diving.
That's awesome. I like that you do that walk every year, and it was definitely like a huge honor to like participate in the one this year, and to get to meet your daughter. And it was just really nice and such a good like community
Yeah.
event. So I'm excited for next year, and the shirts are nice too. So thank you for the shirts.
uh, yeah. Thank you for joining us. That was special.
Yeah.
It
Are there any like upcoming events you're looking forward to, or any like travel plans you guys have in the near future?
No, we just got back from San Antonio. I got in trouble going on a plane. It was tough. So we decided to drive, and we had a great time. We had couple of couples visitors from Austin that we hadn't seen in a little bit, and that was really nice. It's funny. I really liked San Antonio. We stayed downtown on the Riverwalk. That was nice. I don't think we're going to be traveling to Europe or anything. Uh, it's just too long a flight. We used to but we always have done kind of athletic things, like we would drive out of town in Texas, go to a small town that would be great to ride bikes, and we would ride bikes there.
Kevin, is there anything you wish people knew more about ALS?
I wish the doctors knew more about it. They're fighting with a pretty tough problem. It's genetic, and they never had very much money, but because baseball has picked it up, they've gotten a lot of money lately, and that National Institutes of Health has. Um, I think I think they're going to find different cures. They're finding out that it's not one disease like the measles or anything. It's a lot of different diseases, or what causes it in one person's not the same what causes it in another. And there's different genes that are affected, and they've isolated two that they have pretty good medications for, but they don't do it for anybody that's not in that group, and that's only 10% right now. But a lot of things are looking at how they do it and how it can come on the market. Uh, and there are a lot of organizations. The medications are extremely expensive, the new ones, but there are several different organizations that make sure that everybody can afford it that has ALS.
I'm looking forward to seeing what research looks like in the coming years and like what are some new things that come out because I do agree with you that I feel like I wish we knew more and I feel like there's always new things coming
Yeah.
out and lots of work being put into finding a cure.
May I ask you a question?
Go ahead.
Okay, what made you decide to start Spiro in Houston?
Oh, to like work at Spiro
Yeah,
to like what made me decide to work at
yeah,
Spiro?
and in
Oh,
Houston, yeah. I were you there when it started when they opened up brand new? Oh, okay,
no, I wasn't there. I wasn't there like when the clinic first opened. So I joined a little under 4 years ago,
okay.
and it opened 10 years ago. I believe, yes, in 2010, 14 years ago. Oh my goodness. But I went to school in the Hill Country area, and I knew I wanted to work in the outpatient neurological setting because that's where my heart is. And like, there's not a ton of options in Houston. It's kind of like more of a niche and a specialty. And so, one of my mentor and former professor, Dr. Jennifer Hale, she first worked with Katie, who's the owner of Spiro. So she told me about Spiro, and so I looked it up on social media, and I was like, "This looks so fun." And I went for my interview, and I feel like people can tell you one thing, but then it's another thing to like feel it. And I feel like as soon as you just like walked in, you could just tell like people had fun at work. You could tell like it's like it felt like a good environment with good people. And so I interviewed there and then I ended up staying like the whole like afternoon just like watching people treat and so I got to meet some of the patients and like it was like probably the most like fun interview I had. And I went home that day and I was like, oh, I hope they hire me. I hope they hire me. And so I think it was like the next day. I heard back that I had gotten the job, and so I told Eric, I was like, "Oh my goodness, I got the job!" And we went out and we celebrated. And I didn't even say yes to the job, but then I got home, I was like, "Oh my goodness, I need to say yes." So it was like one thing that led to another and it's just been so fun and throughout the years I've gotten to meet so many people and I feel like every patient I meet like truly like teaches me something, and that's something I take with me. So it's a joy to work with you. It's a joy to like see you and see like sometimes you come into the clinic with like the brightest of shirts. Like you have your like orange highlighter shirts, which I love. I'm like, oh, there goes Kevin, you know, and that's like so fun. And I just love that I get to do that. I love that I get to meet you guys. I love that like Bob, I was just telling Kevin how much I enjoy like working with everybody and then just seeing like all the awesome patients. And then I was telling him how like for example, like you, like this is my first time seeing you sitting down. Because in clinic when you come here with Kevin, you're always standing up, walking around, like doing like, you know, a pull up on a bar. You know? It's just like you never sit down and you just like you amaze me and you inspire me because like you're like way more active than I am. And so this is like this is what I inspire to be
When you
like.
get
And
older.
so um yes. So yeah, I was just sharing how much of a joy like it truly is to get to meet so many people like through work and to just learn from them and be inspired by them.
Good.
Yeah.
Well, we really enjoy, I think, all the, it's so friendly there and how it's genuine. Everyone really likes being there. It's not like it's a drag for them to come to work, and they want us to get better too.
Yeah, it's definitely a fun place. But the last question I had was for
Here you
Kevin.
go. It's a
Oh,
question for you. See, put the thing
Mhm.
thank you. Sometimes in the end of the day, uh, the muscles. If people don't know about ALS, your muscles and when it starts attacking the muscle, that makes it tired quickly, and
Yeah.
uh, it towards the end of the day, uh, it's hard to talk. So I get Barbara to say half the thing. She likes to talk. so that's another good thing because I can not say anything and she keep the conversation going. It's
That's good teamwork.
yeah.
I just had one last question for you, Kevin. If anybody is listening to this podcast and maybe they're like newly diagnosed and they like don't know what to do, like what would be your like message of hope to anybody that's listening?
Message of hope. Uh, I would follow the doctor's advice and um, start medication soon as they can. Like there are three now that are accepted, and that slows the progression. Uh, Go to Spero, or a good provider. Stay active as you can. Um, be with family and friends. I mean, you can still do a lot of things. I have trouble now typing, and so I'm only typing with my left hand and not very well. And so, but there's a lot of things that you can get that you can talk into it, and even when my voice gets slurry, that doesn't happen to anybody. But I think just uh, enjoy your blessings, and uh, and uh, they're given to us, and we just have to accept them,
Yeah.
like this one over here.
Aww, my heart.
So,
Oh, that's awesome. Well, thank you so much, Kevin. Thanks for the awesome like words of hope, and thanks for taking the time out of your day to have this conversation with me. I really
and
appreciate it.
thank you. You've been an inspiration for both of us.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.